This is the Linux tier list. These distros I haven't used, and these distros are awaiting their trial on the nice tier list I've made. Another fun spin I did was that I added no D tier. If you're really that bad, then I might as well just add you into good old F tier. So without further ado, let's go. Arch. I think I've even installed Arch on this channel, and personally, it's okay to use. I don't really care about it. I don't really mind it. I'm gonna go put it in B. Debian. I've used Debian quite a bit, I would say, from time to time. So Debian, in my opinion, it's actually pretty good. And the reason why I'm gonna give it the ranking that it's gonna get is because it's literally the granddad of all distros, okay? This distro has single-handedly helped the community in like so many different ways. So for that, it's gonna have to go in S tier. Arctics, I'm put it in C. I'm not even gonna try with that one. It's kind of buggy, and the only reason why people would prefer Arctics over Arch is because Arctics does not use System D, which is an init system. And if you do not know what an init system is, it's the thing that helps your operating system load up. Next up, we got Fedora. Now I'm gonna put it in S tier simply because I use it. If I wasn't using it, it would still go in A tier, but since I'm using it, it's going in S tier. It's pretty good distro. It's a semi-rolling release distro, so it's kind of like Windows in that regard, and which I respected a lot. The KDE edition is very customizable. As a programmer who occasionally programs, I'm not saying I'm everyday programming, but for someone who occasionally programs, this is a nice bleeding edge distro that really helps me a lot because it usually has all the packages I need to get started. Linux Mint. I'm debating on whether or not to put it in S or A tier. I really want to put it in S tier, but I don't know because it's really good for beginners. But the problem with Linux Mint Cinnamon is that it isn't as customizable. But to be fair, it is a really beautiful looking distro. It takes me back to like when I used to use Windows 7 on my dad's old computer. Shout out dad. For the sake of that, I'm gonna have to put it in S tier. I don't know. Para OS B tier. It's a penetration testing distro. It's basically like Kali Linux, but actually usable to like in daily drive. I think this is a pretty good distro. I just can't put it in A tier because it's quite buggy in my opinion. At least from the last time I've used it. So whatever. Kubuntu A tier. A tier distro uses KDE, and the reason why this is going in A tier is not just because it uses KDE. It has a really good like package selection out of the box, and you can even choose whether or not you want a minimal installation or you want a more like inclusive installation featuring the likes of Firefox and LibreOffice and some other multimedia programs. So for that, A tier. The only reason it's not S tier is because it's based on Ubuntu, and you can easily get Fedora, or you can use Debian using KDE. It would get an A tier, but as of right now, it's B tier. The reason why, as of right now, it's B tier is because Pop! OS, and specifically System 76, is trying to test out a new desktop environment called Cosmic, and basically, it kind of bridges the gap between a desktop environment and a window manager because Cosmic has some features that mimics a window manager, but it still manages to completely be a fully fledged desktop environment. If you do not know what a desktop environment is, it's just your desktop, like what you see on your desktop. And a window manager is kind of like a desktop environment, and it's supposed to be completely automated with your keyboard. But the reason why I'm putting it in B tier is because Cosmic is so very buggy. I don't know if I can really trust using Pop! OS on a daily basis right now because of how buggy it is. So if I were to use Pop! OS, I would use the older version, not the newer version. Okay, MX Linux is gonna go in B tier. I like the fact that you can choose the init system, and I also like the fact that you can choose the desktop environment, and it like doesn't change it to a new distro. Because if, for example, if you were to install another desktop environment on Ubuntu, it would now turn into Kubuntu, and now you're using a completely new flavor slash distro of Linux. Some people just want to be under one umbrella, so for those people, MX Linux is actually pretty good. The reason why I put it in B tier is because the init system only applies to some desktop environments. I wish that there was a way that you can avoid System D and still use KDE Plasma. I don't have a problem with System D, I like tinkering. Solus OS, I use this distro a lot. A tier. The only reason it's not an S tier is because it has very little package support, and this distro unfortunately does not have the best management. It would be S tier because it's a very good Linux distro. It's very beginner friendly, and is an independent distro, so it uses its own package manager and it has its own base. But the management of the distro is horrible. It's like they're always dealing with some type of issue and they can never get a new version in time, and they have very little packages. So for that reason, it still goes in A tier. OpenSUSE, I'm gonna have to put it in, I don't know, B tier. I've had some experiences with this distro, but personally, I don't think it's for me. I think that if you want to use OpenSUSE, Fedora is way better. They both use RPM. There's kind of no point to using OpenSUSE unless you want the YAST software management stuff. If you don't know what that is, YAST is like OpenSUSE's very own software management tool. Like you can manage software to that. Ubuntu, okay, hot take, Ubuntu isn't bad. People say that Ubuntu is bloated. In my opinion, it's not bloated because there's literally an option during installation where it says minimal installation, and the only thing that you really get is some like actual necessities and Firefox. You don't even get like VLC or any multimedia tool. You don't get LibreOffice. You don't get none of that. All you get is like a couple necessities. You don't even get an image viewer. All you get is a couple necessities in Firefox. So you would choose the fact that it's bloated. Otherwise, it's not bloated as long as you click minimal installation, which for some reason many people just miss. I know that Snap kind of sucks, and that's why it's not going to go in S tier. Snap kind of sucks, and I really liked Unity. So for those reasons, it's not going to go in S tier, but it's still an A tier distro. Zornos B tier. It could go in S tier, but I think it's too young of a distro, and I haven't really seen its progress. I know that Zach Texter made a video about this distro, or made a couple shorts about this distro. CashOS. I'm gonna have to put this in A tier. Pretty good gaming distro, but that's not the reason why it's in A tier. The reason why it's in A tier is because it uses its own kernel called the Linux Zen kernel, optimized for pure performance. And the way how you install packages on it is really cool. It's kind of like Omarchi's package system, but we'll get into that later. Bazite, probably B tier, pretty bloated distro, and it's based off of Fedora, but not just the main Fedora, like the vanilla Fedora. It's based off of Fedora Atomic, which is a read-only file system, which means that you can't break a lot of things. It's pretty stable, and you can only use Flatpaks and app images, I believe. SteamOS also uses this, and Bazite, trying to mimic SteamOS, also does that too. Omarchi, I'm about to put it in A tier. I like this distro. People say it's bloated, and it is from the beginning, but you can only remove all the pre-installed apps and only keep the apps that comes with Vanilla Arch. I like its Hyperlink configuration. If you don't know what Hyperlink is, it's like the thing that I talked about earlier with window managers. It's essentially a window manager, but if it was eye candy and all the animations were super smooth. Well, with Omarchi, that ends the tier list video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one.